Hey, I'm Rob Pats, and welcome to the morning break. And this is the first one. How cool is this? This is exciting. This is the first morning break here. Now, uh, so you know, I have done the morning break on radio over the last few weeks, and it's been a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, I love radio. It's where I started, but it's more fun to be able to interact with you on places like YouTube. So I decided to make the executive decision that we would bring the morning break to YouTube to start with. Where it goes from there, I don't know. As some of you know, I own Abundant TV, and so I can put it there if we wanted to. And we'll see. You never know. You may see the morning break on Abundant TV. And if you look over here, no, there. Forget which way I'm going. That's Abundant TV, and that's Faith, Freedom, and Business. It's an organization or a part of the streaming stuff that we do. And we talk a lot about business, faith, and freedom. And so it's always fun. By the way, you always know I've got to have coffee. So the morning break, really the idea for it, by the way, kind of started out of, I think, a need for me to do radio or television again or do this kind of stuff again. And it's just always been kind of fun for me to be able to do this and to be able to communicate with people. And is this one going to be the most smooth? Of course not. This is going to be a train wreck, probably one that we'll delete as soon as possible. Just because it's there. It's a test for me, and it's a lot of fun. I get a chance to do this and be with you in this way. Now, if you've watched or listened to the morning breaks over the last couple of weeks on SGM Radio, a network that I own. If you like gospel music, go to sgmradio.com and you can listen there to different things. Not this now. And it was interesting to do it there because that's kind of my home. I started in radio in Seattle, Washington, many years ago, and it was kind of always the place that I felt comfortable. I don't like looking at myself, and right now this is a one man operation, so I am actually controlling this. That's why you don't see a lot of other stuff, though. I do have an Elgato. Let's see if I can. Can I pull it up there? There it is. I don't know how to use everything. We're gonna have weather. We're gonna talk about weather, which we are going to talk about here in a second anyway. But the morning break, kind of as an idea, started with what I used to do in the old days, which was morning radio, and was part of a great team. Hosted a morning show and had some really great people that were with me. I hated, people always called them sidekicks and things like that. I hated that term because really to me they made the show. And as we move forward and as the morning break grows, probably to start with, it will grow. If we're being honest, it will grow probably as a show on Mondays. Kind of like this. Um and give it time to grow that way. I got a little few hairs. I don't know why that happens. I need a haircut. I'm like at the point, and now it just like does funky things, and the weather's humidity is like off the chain. In fact, we're going to talk about weather. Let's do that really quick. Today's high, if you're in the great state of Ohio, here in the Toledo area, today going to be 92 degrees. If that isn't your location, which I respect you if you're not from here, though Ohio is awesome, and that's a story for another time. But if you're not from here and you're somewhere else, we're going to take a look at some of the weather for different parts of the country. You know what I want to do really quick, and I'm going to do something you don't normally do on air, and that is I'm going to actually just quickly make sure that we are on the air. How about that? Because I don't know if anybody's watching. I don't even know if it's working. And so, always good to kind of go check and see what's going on. And let's do that really quick. Go to Abundant TV, which is where you're finding this. Abundant TV, not RC. Why would that do that? TV and go. Let's do this. I mean, this is kind of fun. You and I kind of working together, kind of live right now. Let's see what's live. It's me, the morning break. I'm there. Abundant TV, which is where you're finding this. Abundant TV. And now one watching, which is me. But hey, this is a lot of fun. So we know it works. So this was kind of the test run. This was kind of me going, okay, this works. We can do this. Um, so I wanted to talk about a few things. By the way, I love coffee. It's the morning break. You can see the graphic up there. Lake Tahoe was there last year. We'll talk about that in a second. But here's the thing. I love coffee. There's a great coffee company that we work with called 7 Weeks Coffee. Now, if you go to 7weekscoffee.com, use the promo code ATV10 and you get 10% off. And they are amazing. They have been just wonderful to us at Abundant TV. And I'm so humbled that they are teaming with us. And now when I talk about Abundant TV, it's not just here on YouTube. And I've had people ask me that, but Abundant TV is an app driven. It's one of the fastest growing, by the way, in the world, fastest growing app driven television, 24 hours a day, linear broadcasting. So over there right now, it is 10:30. It is Joy for the Journey, which is Richard. It's Del his song. His son Richard is part of it. It's a great show. So if you like ministry and speaking, Del is over there speaking on our main channel right now. We've got other things. Plus, you can find on demand and something new, which is podcasting. Now, I want to talk to you about podcasting because my wife and I started doing a podcast again. We'd really kind of dove into it in 2000 it's 2023 and we started doing it, and then it just kind of stopped for us. A lot of things in life, and for some of you, this might be a catch up time for you with me, which is kind of neat. We get a chance to talk, and one of the catch up things is, of course, in 2024, my mom my mom passed away, and it's actually coming up on a year now since she's been gone. But during that time, there was a lot of times where mom wasn't always feeling the best, and our schedules, both Kristen and mine, were just kind of crazy. And so that kind of, I think, really stressed us. We were doing the TV show. We do a show called The Robin Christian Show. I know that's very original, but we do that. So a lot of things happen, but podcast, you go check it out. It's also there on the app. You can download the app at either Apple or on iOS on iOS or on Android. And you can also do it for Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. And those are great places too. And we love it because we'll watch ourselves sometimes on um not only on our phones or on an iPad, we'll watch on TV, and it's kind of fun to see. Though it's not as great when you and I know when I go back and look at this, I'm going to go, "Oh, I really look terrible. I look old." But I'm excited about this. And hey, listen, I'm not perfect. Um, I have spent a good part of my life around broadcasting, and I learned one thing a long time ago: you're never going to be perfect at it. You're going to have fun, and especially a show that is, let's face it, not. I don't have a staff. It's always fun when you have a staff, and I've done shows where I had a staff and I had people who helped me out, and all I did was get dressed and basically write a script. So this is fun because this is me and you, and it's the morning break. Like I said, it's going to be every Monday to start with, and we're going to add some guests. I think we'll do that at some point. I am also on a journey learning OBS. This is done on OBS. Now we have another service that we use called Restream that we use for a couple things. One, I do a show on Thursdays on Restream, which does to Facebook and LinkedIn and all those kind of neat places, with my buddy Jason Webb. And Jason and I interview a lot of people in the categories that are to your side, their faith, freedom, and business. Of course, I've been a business person besides being a broadcaster almost my whole life. I was an entrepreneur from a young age and have just had a fun with it. Always had fun with doing um, business and doing life that way. And so I guess you can look at those kinds of things and that's kind of be what the show is. It's going to be a half hour or roughly a half hour. Maybe and I think these are the things, okay? So it's probably be a half hour. It could go longer. And here's why. It could go longer if we add some news. Maybe there's something breaking that's going on and we want to talk about it. That could happen. It could be that we have a guest that's really good. And that's one of the neat things. And like I said, for right now, this is on YouTube. Tell me if you're watching this, tell me your experience with Rumble. Do you like Rumble? We do some of our stuff on Rumble, not live stuff. This is and actually to be honest with you, I woke up this morning super nervous about this because this was the first time I've done this alone. So complete just transparency. Usually I have somebody with me and usually it's my wife or it's Jason or somebody else. And this is kind of the first time alone, and wow, it seems different. Now, radio for me is easy, and I don't know, there's kind of a flow with radio that's different, and it feels different. But this is awesome because I want to be able to share stuff with you. I want us to get a chance to really get to know each other here in this area and be able to have a real connection. Some other things I wanted to talk about. My wife and I are starting a Bible study. So if you are a person of faith and are looking to get plugged into an online Bible study, we're getting ready to do that. It will probably be somewhere, I would say, in September. Don't have a date yet. Still working on that, but sometime in September for sure. Now, next thing I want to talk about because like I said, we're going to be all over the place, and I think that's what makes it kind of fun because it's your morning break. You're having a coffee. You're kind of just relaxing after kind of getting settled into work, maybe. So, I want to talk about this. By the way, that coffee is amazing. I want to talk about something kind of dear to my heart, which is football. This weekend, of course, started Thursday with some games. My Hawks, the Seahawks, played to a tie against Pete Carroll and Geno Smith as they came back. Of course, now with the Vegas Raiders, which, by the way, okay, here's the deal. Is it odd to anyone else to call them the Vegas Raiders? Even when they were in LA, I called them the Oakland Raiders. And I think it's hey, listen, here's the thing. I've got couple points on this and yes we are going to talk sports so it's part of who I am. I think for Pete Carroll, I think this was a neat place for him to go. um I don't know, as somebody that's I worry for him, and I guess that's the best way. His legacy of course was great with Seattle, and I think he's gonna have a hard time. I have to be completely honest. I think he's gonna have a hard time in Oakland. Yeah, see it. There we go. In Vegas. Um, don't think that he has. Yes, Tom Brady's part of the management and ownership team, and I get that. But Tom's not throwing the football. You got Geno Smith, and I like Geno. He seems like a nice guy. Did well while he was in Seattle. I think a lot due to Pete Carroll, but I worry about tarnishing it, and I think this is kind of where we're gonna end up today because this is kind of where we're gonna finish is are you tarnishing your legacy? And at what point do you say, "Hey, listen, I've accomplished. I won a championship in college football. I won a Super Bowl, almost won 2 Super Bowls in the NFL." When do I say, or when does it become something that affects you, that it affects your legacy, that it affects who you are, by going out and doing this in Oakland? I'm in Oakland. Really, Rob? Now it's just a brain thing. Doing this in Vegas. Um, I did not see much of the game. I watched a lot of the highlights because, again, they're my Seahawks. I live in Ohio now, so I don't get to see the games like I used to. But I get the feeling that it's going to be a tough season, and you're in a division. And again, if you're a football fan, you're in a division with Kansas City, maybe one of the best teams in the league. Again, you've got Denver. You've got Bo Nix there in Denver with Sean Payton, and they're doing incredible stuff. I'm not sure they're challenging for the division, and then you've got Harbaugh down there in San Diego. And it's kind of funny. Now, if you're an old school fan, and I'm going to get to the legacy part here in a second, but if you're an old school fan, Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll did not like each other when Jim was in San Francisco with the 49ers and Pete, of course, up with the Seahawks. So kind of interesting that they're both in the same division again, AFC. And I think it's going to be a great division, but is there a realistic path for them to be any more than the 4th team in that division? I don't see it. I mean, if they're in the AFC South, maybe they're a better team. I still don't think they make the playoffs. I don't think they do. But so we're going to talk about legacy. And I think that we all, as Christians, look at our legacy. And I know I do. I'm getting to an age, going to celebrate a birthday coming up in September. And I think you always get to this point where you're looking at your legacy and what your legacy is. And you go, okay, I want to do this because I still have the fire. And I get it. Pete Carroll still has the fire. So we'll talk about that too. So you still have your fire to do it, but is it hurting your legacy in life to do it? And I think we as Christians look at legacy different. Um, I know I do. And like I said, turning my birthday coming up and turning another year older in September, I look at my legacy, and there are things I don't want to affect about it, but I always want to keep growing. And so I could be on both sides of this story. Do I think it's going to hurt Pete Carroll? Yes, I think it is. Is he going to, if you want to add this in and have a principle into this as a Christian, is he going to influence people? Yeah, I think he is. So as Christians, I think we have to be careful and guard our legacy, but I think we still want to influence believers. I mean, there will come a point, and I know this, um, as somebody who works in TV and radio, there is going to come a point where I have to look squarely into the camera and say, listen, I don't feel that I am relevant enough any longer to be able to do this on a regular basis and be able to help people. Now, I'm praying that time is 20, 25, 30 years from now. And I really do. I believe 30 years from now, I'm ready to walk away and not walk away, but move into a different area. And so I think that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit and talk about, then do you get into mentorship? And I love that. I love mentorship. I've spent a good part of my life being a mentor, and it's always fun, and to have mentors. Okay, so here's the other thing. So a few years ago, um it was checked in my life, And God really kind of checked me because at that point, um, I was feeling very successful, very much like in the groove in life, and God kind of checked me and brought me a mentor, and this mentor who is still in my life, not on a daily basis anymore, where he was for quite a while, but was for a time. Um, I needed it. I think that we all need it. My wife and I on our podcast, which you can find on Abundant TV, on the app, we talked about sometimes God prunes things away, and for me, over the last year and a half, 2 years, God's kind of pruning some stuff away, and I'm okay with that. And sometimes people say that comes with age, probably a little bit, but I'm also okay with God kind of pruning some stuff away. I think partially because I feel different about life now. I don't feel like I need to do everything. How many people out there do you feel like you need to do everything? And I'm one of those. But also, how many of us hate to fail or hate to think or the perception of failure? I know I do. I'm like one of those people. I hate that perception. I hate and it's terrible, but I hate when people think I've not succeeded at something. I think that's the competitive side of me. I also think that's the um, prideful side, and I think that I've had to look at it differently, and it really is exciting when you start looking at it differently, when you start seeing it and going, "You know what, God? This is really cool." So you're pruning this away. And I have my own example of this. Um, and over the next few weeks, we may share that as part of it. But I've watched and watched some things get pruned back in my life. And at the same time, while I'm okay with it, it bothered me at first, and then it was like, "Okay, I can do this," and then you start to see, and I think this is one of the key things, and if my pauses drive you nuts, I'm sorry, but one of the key things I've seen over that time is when God is pruning things away, it's not it's not a punishment. It's not a, "Oh, I'm gonna teach you a lesson." It's not. It's if we truly are and truly are Christians and have faith that God wants the best for us, that he is looking out for our good, there are going to be times where he prunes things away from us to have new growth, to have new things. Sometimes, and I'm not a landscaper or anything like that, but sometimes in life, and I know this from watching it it be it happen, and watching people who I have, landscapers and stuff, do the work, is sometimes you may have this really beautiful tree or bush, but nothing else grows around it. And so yeah, it really is cool, and you have this one really cool thing, but then your landscaper comes in and goes, "You know what? If you want some flowers to grow here, we're gonna have to cut this bush down." And you're going, "Well, yeah, but I love that bush." And then you cut the bush, and all of a sudden you have beautiful flowers around it, and it changes everything. Not you subtracted by trimming the bush down, but you added by having all of these new beautiful flowers. So if you're out there and you're a business person, and right now God might be trimming something off, let me encourage you, this is not the end. This is not where you're going to finish. God's pruning something back for something greater. If we believe that, you've got to believe it though, because if you go, yeah, he's just, I've always been this way, that's not going to work. Or maybe you're sitting there and you're like, one of these people that I love the idea of the concept of this is that you're taking a break from your day. Maybe you're at work and you're saying, I don't understand, but I'm being laid off at the end of the month. God's pruning you for a reason. And I would, I would totally want you to know that God has a plan and he's going to take care of you and he's going to open new doors. And hey, listen, I'd love to hear from you. You can email us at sales@abundanttv.com. That's sales@abundanttv.com. And man, we would love to hear from you, love to uh, have you reach out and help me with the morning break. I'm going to build this show, but I need your help. Help me. Help us try to figure this out. I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Go out and enjoy your Monday because this was your morning break.